So hopefully this is going to stream on YouTube too. A sec. Dive in. Okay. I think we got it. So welcome everyone. Happy Tuesday. Welcome to our first Lift Your Spirits. I think I messed up. I bought the new. Oh, well, you have next month's. We'll get to next month's one. But welcome to Lift Your Spirits. So this is our first Lift Your Spirits back since Hedgehog Hollow relaunch. So I'm super excited. This was one of my favorite events. So we do this monthly. It's going to be on a Tuesday. So the next one will actually be the 16th of September. And at the end of tonight's live, I'm going to pick a winner from the live. I'm going to pick a winner from those of you watching on YouTube. So make sure you're commenting on YouTube. And for those of you watching here in the Zoom room. And those in the Zoom room will get a bigger prize than the ones here who's watching on YouTube. So if you want to be in the Zoom room, all you have to do is purchase the stamp set each month and you can come here and ask questions and be part of it and all those kinds of things. So tonight we're using our Boo to You stamp set, which is so cute. I love this stamp set. I think it's adorable. So we're going to be using this. And I also have some other new cool stuff that we're going to be using tonight as well. So we'll be diving into those as well. And I have some really fun ideas to use this stamp set. I actually thought of one on the way home tonight. So we're going to try that out, something a little bit different as well. And I can't see the YouTube comments at the same time. So I'm going to try and like jump backwards and forwards. But for those of you, if you're watching on YouTube, just know I'm mainly watching what's going on in the Zoom room because we're crafting together here. So let's dive in. I want to just start off with a basic one. Let's pin my replace pin. The only thing I want to check is hopefully this is going to stream on YouTube. Well, I'm gonna have to force quit. And I guess we're gonna have to force quit Chrome and deal with that later too. I have so many tabs open on Chrome, it's terrible. So it's making my laptop stop. All right. So I know on Zoom, you can definitely see my hands. For those of you watching on YouTube, I'm not sure if it worked or not. So we'll have to wait and see in a second if that worked. It used to always work backwards and forwards if I did it as a spotlight. So we're going to do this and see how we get on. So this is the stamp set we're using. So we're using this Boo to You. And I want to start off with something pretty simple. And then we're going to get into some cool techniques. So I also want to replicate, I don't know if any of you have seen this really cool like viral set that's going around where it's like the ghosts all lined up in the frame. I thought maybe we could do something like that on this. We'll see if it works or not. So we'll see. All right, so first we need to prime time this. So if you've never used prime time, it's a spray. And what it's going to do is, you see how all I've done is remove my little backing set, and then I spray on my prime time, leave it for like 10-15 seconds, and then take my little squid buddy, give it the light little scrub, and then I'm going to grab some stamp cleaner, matte prime squid. I need to find a little holder that holds my spray bottles better. And now I'm going to give this a little thing. So yes, you can add kaleidoscope into embossing powder in certain ratios. So then we're actually going to have an Alchemy range, and it'll tell you with recipes, it will tell you like how much embossing powder to mix with kaleidoscope, or if you want to add glitter, what ratios to add it in. So we'll have like a little recipe book. It's also going to tell you like how to make your own distress powders, how to make gritty ones. So we'll actually talk about more of that on Friday, I think is when we're going to do the Alchemy release. I'm just waiting on, it might be Friday or Saturday. I'll have to keep you posted. I'm waiting on when Greg's going to be back to figure out what's happening here, because Tilly's with me all week, which is amazing, and we're having a great time. She did her first ever cheer tonight, and now she's practicing her new cheer dance, so she's finding it really fun. All right, so let's start off with a little basic one. Shall we do, I like this little guy here. Hey, Deb. Oh, look how nice it prints now. It's actually inked up. I think there's a tiny bit, but I think that was more user error. So black re-inkers came in today. So anyone who'd ordered a black, a clear, or white re-inker and had an order held, they'll be fulfilled in the next, I'm going to say 24 to 36 hours. I'm packing as quick as I can in between work and life and all those kinds of things. I actually want to do two versions of this just to kind of show you some different options. So I'm going to stamp it out twice. And the second time I'm going to stamp it with fog. So I want to give it a quick wipe over, a little clean. And if you want to grab the stamp set, you still can. There are 9 left, and there will only ever be 9. So once this one's gone, that's going to be the end of it. So these Lift Your Spirits are going to be like little one-off, where that pink came from, one-off stamp sets. So if you want one, you can go to hedgehoghollowstore.com if you're watching on YouTube, and you can grab one. All right, so let's do 2 versions of this first of all, and then we'll launch into some other coloring options with these little guys here. So I'm going to start off with the color one, I think. And I've got some Copics here. I also want some purples. And then maybe like a bright yellow. So I'm going to start off with my C0 then. Chin. Yeah. So I'm going to start off with my C0, and I'm using Remarkable ink. So I'm just going to give it a quick blast just to make sure it's dry, because I just re-inked my pad that shows we started the zoom. So it's super juicy, and I want to make sure it's nicely soaked in. So Remarkable you can use with your alcohol markers, and you can use it with your water-based as well. So your C0 is very, very light, and I'm more just doing it to kind of get me started. So if you want more tips to color with alcohol markers, super dry actually. Let's grab out, I'm gonna grab out a little bit of N2. So if you want to learn about alcohol markers, we're actually doing a coloring fur class on Sunday. There are 3 kits left. So you see how what I've taken is every time there's a little curl, I've just made a little V in my ghost, and then I skipped the frame and just brought it up here. So I started on the side to give me that like little V, and then use my tip to extend it out. Just like that. And already he kind of starts to look a little bit more realistic and ghosty. Now into the center of that, I'm going to add a little bit of C4. And right in the middle, I'm adding some C8. And if you have something that's a 0 or a double 0, none of mine are in order anymore, so I'm just kind of grabbing some out. I have an RV, which is super light, and I'm just going to use it to soften. This is so light, it's just like a little hue. We're just going to blend everything together. So even though that was pink, it just added like a little bit of warmth to kind of bring everything together, and you can now see how he's looking. Now I'm going to take a little bit, because he is cartoony. So I'm going to kind of really blush up those little cheeks and keep it fun. So I used my R000 and my RV11, put the really light down, then a dot of the brighter, and then went over again with the light, if you're doing it as well. So the fur class is a one-off, yes. So yes, the fur class is a one-off. It's a one-time thing. If you get it, you get a kit of everything you need. You just have to bring your own alcohol markers, and you also get the recording, of course, as well. Now here I'm just going to add just a little bit into his hands here as well. And if anyone who's on the Zoom has a question as we're going, feel free to interrupt me. So there's his little hands in the front there as well. And you could add some shading and things here, but I kind of want to just leave him pretty white because I'm going to do some fun stuff with the background. So I want to make these little flowers yellow. And then I'm just going to use a little bit of in the center. And I kind of want it to look like wallpaper behind him. And then I'm going to take that R00030 and color a background. Hey, Aria. What's that move? And then I'm going to use some V06 to create kind of a fun frame. You know, it's like a little cartoony stamp, so I don't want it to be like too serious. And this you could do like something fun. You could do, hey boo, you know, you could send this to a friend, or, you know, it's like a thank you card. It doesn't necessarily have to be a Halloween card. We're going to add some texture to this in a minute. So I'm just going to do a flat this, and I'm not adding like lots of texture and things, so I'm not worrying about saturating it or having paper underneath. I'm kind of doing pretty flat coloring, so if you're wondering why I don't have any of my usual stuff, that is why. And these will make great tags too. So you could, I'm going to show you a couple of options to turn them into tags if we have time. And I want to show you a few different kind of fun things. Like, I just think he looks so cute already. I want to take a little bit of V15 and just kind of fill in any areas I miss. And I kind of want to do it like streaky. And like in some places I'm adding circles. And this is very much like tone on tone. But what it will do is it will make it look more like a little bit of wood grain. You see how I'm kind of like dancing with the pen on there? So like, so that now I'm doing really fine lines, but adding some little circles. And I'm going to go back over it with a lighter color and blend these out a little bit. But it's just kind of designed to add a little bit of texture. I don't know if you can kind of see that already. Let's see if I pick it up. You can start to see there's like some graininess to it. And it's not just like a flat purple. So now I'm just going to go over the top and blend that in a little bit. But with my blending in, I'm kind of keeping to the center because I don't want it to bleed out into my white little ghost there. I don't mind if it bleeds out here because I'm going to fussy cut it out. But I don't want it bleeding into my little ghosty here. All right, so let's cut him out. I brought some scissors in here. And I'll show you some backgrounds after, but I'm going to just trim him out. Then I want to color this fog one. And then I want to show you a couple of other ideas before we kind of work on finishing these up. And like hop between, check on YouTube too, make sure there's no comments I miss. At the end, I'll update the YouTube description too, with all the links and everything. Okay. That's our first little ghosty that we're going to turn into something. These would also make cool little shrinky dinks too. You could definitely shrinky dink this. and turn them into little keychains or things like that as well. It's a nice size to do that with. So now I want to do a grayscale version. Hey, Ariane, I see you're back. So now we're going to start off. I'm doing the same thing. I'm doing my little V's. And the hardest part, I think, is making it marry up to the frame without going through the frame. You look one shade lighter in the gray. Let's see what we've got in here. T2. Ario, get your nose out my Copics. I have the C2 here. For the cheeks, what color do I feel? Ario. If anyone would like to adopt a puppy, please let me know. I have my holos here. I was seeing if I had. I want like a super light gray. So this is CG0 the holos. Yeah. And don't be afraid to mix brands. Going in with some N2. I actually want to, oh, I don't like that either. Just firm up his expression a little bit so it really pops on there. And then I'm going to color in my flowers as C4s. And I want to do, I'm actually going to use the CG0 to color around it. Because I don't want it to be too dark and too bright. The reason I color the flowers before I color the background is alcohol is a little bit like watercolor in the fact it will spread where there's other alcohol. So if you have a dry zone where you're going to fill something in, it's less likely to bleed out. And then by the time I kind of come back to this, it's ready to go. So that's the reason I do it in that order. There's kind of like a strategic order I do them in. And I kind of, every project will be a little bit different and I'll think it through. So now I'm going to use my N2 to color in my frame. You can tell the concentration is real. So I do like a swipe to get to my edge and then I color these in. And again, I kind of plan to cut him out, so I'm not so worried about the top edge. Then I want to firm up a couple of things. I'm going to use CG9 from my Olos. And I'm going to color in my little buttons on the corners this time. And I want to do my swirls. Just like this. And make a straight edge. You could use a fine Sharpie too if you wanted to. But I kind of want to be a little bit playful with him. So let's cut him out. And then I want to put another detail on before we move on to the next one. And we'll try and get time at the end to mount them all up together as well. Hey, doctor. The doctor's on YouTube. I just happened to click over and there was his comment. Almost like somehow I knew. Hey, babe. So I'm just here fussy cutting. And I fussy cut by moving my paper over moving my scissors. It will give you more control and your hands won't hurt so much. Everyone's so quiet on Zoom tonight. So there is our little guy in black and white. A real good leaf. And then I'm going to use a little bit of Copic white. And this is where I'm always scared. So I'm going to put a dot in her eye. And then I'm going to put a dot in each of the flowers too. So that can dry while we're working on the others. Where did I put our other little ghost? I lost our first one already. No clue. Oh, I want to put this one over here. You wouldn't think I could lose a purple. Right, here it is. Thanks, Megan. So yeah, so there's that one. So I'm gonna put them on my laptop so then we know where they are as well. Okay. All right, so now I want to show you another idea. We got two. I'm gonna do this one. I'm gonna do the pumpkin one. And I want to stamp with some Grand Canyon. He's so cute. What's your favorite one in the set? For those of you who've got it or you've seen the pictures now, who's your favorite? Maybe this is me and the doctor. I don't know. I think I'd have the funky sunglasses on there. Yes, so it's live on YouTube, and then there's also a Zoom room. So the Zoom is where I'm actually like looking at comments and everything. And that's where you can ask questions. And then we're going to do giveaways, a bigger giveaway on Zoom at the end for anyone who's in the Zoom room. And then there'll be a mini giveaway for those who are over on YouTube as well. But just a little one. So make sure you stay till the end. So now I'm going to use some browns. I just grabbed a handful of different browns because all my Copics are out of order. So when I'm doing this, what I do, if I haven't got my little swatch card to hand, Jenny's good idea, is I'll just like put a little mark at the top and just kind of figure out my order. So then in my head, I can start to think, oh, that one's dried out. I got a little pile. I'm making a dried out ones. A little bit yellow. We don't want that. Oh, the one with the pumpkin on its head. She's cute too. With this one or the one with like the half a pumpkin? There's another one there. Okay. Kind of missing a couple of tones here, but we're going to make this work for us. So I'm going to start out with my E30. Same deal. And you see I'm being nice and soft. The way that I'm going into this. Oh, yeah. They are all cute. It's just a really cute little stamp set. So now I'm going to grab some E17, I think. I'm going to take a little bit of that E70 and blush the cheeks like that as well. I'm going to put a little bit of the E30 in the nose. And I'm avoiding the eyes. So I just put some here in the nose. Now I want to work on my pumpkin. So my lightest shade here, I really could do with another. Let's see what we've got. E21. Let's see what this is like. Perfect. So I'm going to color the base here. And I'm going to grab, I don't have my Copic bit. So I'm going to color in the whole pumpkin. And this is E21, if you're using the same. Now I'm going to use some E35. And then I'm going to go some E17. And then back to my lightest again. And then for our frame, I feel like we're going to have to start out E30. And I'm going to make these little hearts dark. And I'm going to do something else to this in a minute, but you'll see. And so I'm going to just make some little hearts, just using our nib like that. So there's a little like heart wallpaper behind him as well. So nice and easy there as well. So I like it too. Let's quickly cut him out. I'll actually use a little stalk. Let's do stalk just like that. Okay. The same deal. I'm gonna chop this out. And I want to share with you some cool ideas, other ways we can use this, and then we'll come back to these just a little bit. I really struggle to talk while I'm cutting. I don't know what it is. So when you do something like this and you're not sure if you got everything, like when you're fussy cutting, like maybe you missed a little bit, I can see like some little white pieces. There's two ways you can do it. You can take a little blending brush and just run it around the edge. Or my favorite way is I take one of my pens and I literally just run it around the edge like this, particularly if you've got a brush nib. So you can see everything's just like here where I missed that little bit. And then if you like your line is too thin or there's an extra white or whatever it is, this will hide all those fussy cutting sins. And you don't have to do it just when you use alcohol markers. You can do this trick anytime you fussy cut. And you see now how I have a much crisper line in the way that I've cut it out. So there's a little top tip for you as well. All right, so now let's put him on top too. I want to show you some stuff. So a couple of things we're bringing back and something new as well. So we have, so for those of you who weren't in the class at the weekend, we have this new thing coming called Craft Alchemy. And it's all going to be about alchemy and old, and it's going to be really cool. And that's what we're using in mixed media. So our Lost Ruins collection are going to be these really cool papers. So like the tissue paper you got before, which had, and this is why I love this tissue paper so much, was because I felt like this ghost matched these ghosts so perfectly. We might actually use it on one of our cards tonight. So you can actually make your own. And there are two versions. So this is called Collage Veil. So one side is a little bit rough, the other side is shiny. Now the shiny side, you can use more of like your alcohol inks, your non-porous inks. Both sides you can use your archival inks on. The rough side, you can use some porous items. It also works really well with the gel press. But what I love is we also added, we called it Whisper. So it's very thin. It allows you to create your own tissue paper. So it's just like that tissue paper that we printed, but it allows you to make your own. So we're going to make our own tissue paper with this veil. And there is a collection in the store called Lift Your Spirits, August 25 on it. And all of this is in here, and I'll take you through all these different little things. So what you can do is create of course, you don't have to use all the same stuff. I'm just using it for expedience. But you can see how a nice, crisp, clear image you get on it as well. So you can do holiday versions. You can emboss on it with heat embossing. You can use kaleidoscope powder on this. You can use all those porous mediums that normally you couldn't use on a collage paper because they have that dry wax coating. This does not. I'm just kind of filling in the bits. You can also ink blend on it. So if you want to ink blend some frappe or some flat white first to make it look aged, you can do that too. You can wrinkle it up and ink the wrinkles, like all kinds of cool stuff we can do on it. But we're going to use it just like this. I'm going to give it a blast with my heat gun. Just to make sure everything has soaked in nicely. So of course you can make your own wrapping paper, you can make your own packaging paper with it, all kinds of cute little stuff. And I'm going to grab out my coloring pencils. Because you know, I've kind of been on this like coloring pencil kit. Never ever use those. I have my spider pencil, my black widow pencils. I've rarely used these as well, so I'm going to use these for a change. So you can use watercolors on here. Just be careful because you don't want it to rip. Use it kind of dry. I'll show you in a second. I'll do a few different like mediums on here. So these are just colored pencils. Great. I have my black wings. I'm just using my black wing. Very lightly to just kind of give some ghosty texture. So that's kind of one go. You could add little orange stars. Some, I'm going colorful. Green hearts. I never used to use them, but now I put like this drawer next to me with them in. I keep opening them up and there they are. So there's one. So that's colored pencils. If you want to do it with alcohol markers, you can do the same thing. You just have to remember that it depends what you're going to put underneath. So if you're going to put this on top of black cardstock, you see how it's going to look. If you're going to put it on top of white cardstock, here's how it's going to look. So it's going to look very different. And this is going to behave differently. And we're going to talk about this at the weekend, like how different surfaces behave a little bit differently. And that's why in your kit, you have lots of different surfaces that we're going to explore. Give her some little pink cheeks, something stronger. Give her some purple flowers. You can see different mediums are very different. And if you put that white underneath, it's much easier for you to see to color. But I love this collage, the whisper even, just because I can use so many different mediums on it. Like, look how cute she looks. And I'm just using the colors I already have here. She looks so cute. So that's that one. Then up here, let's just do a little bit of dry watercolor so I can show you the difference. Let's put these in here. What I mean by dry watercolor is, I'm going to take some fog. I'm going to take I'm not going to put it on here. I'm going to put my water at the top, make my brush. This one, I guess I didn't clean. I think my gray is here. What's up, Aria? Well, I kind of have a brownie ghost because it was already brown on my brush. That's okay. We've got another sepia ghost going on here. You see, you can do a very soft, like little dry wash. So this is on your little brush cleaning sponge, which you're going to hear more about on Friday. And then I'm going to take some tip trees too much. Let's go flamingo, I think. We can get it out. Flush out her cheeks a little bit. And then it's kind of got a bit darker. I was going for gray and now I've ended up with a brown ghost. But anyway, kind of just have to go all in at this point. Anyway, she'll be fine. And then don't be afraid to mix mediums too. Like now if you're like, oh, actually, I want her, no orange. She's already orange enough. She already spent too long on the technique bed. These are my Zig watercolor pens. So you can see how you can kind of play, and you can mix mediums, mix all sorts of things. If I wanted to, I can use alcohol markers. You could paint with your alcohol inks, you can paint with your re-inkers. However you want to do it, you can paint all kinds of different ways. So you can create your own background pieces. And now I want this to dry for a minute. And I'm going to put this to the side. So once we've done that, then we're going to obviously apply it and we can create our go away, create tags and various things. So if I grab out a white tag here, we're going to use this paper on here. And then, I don't know, maybe we'll like add one of these or something on top. I'm not sure. Maybe it'll just be a tag like this. I don't know. But we're going to use our new liquid glass. So this is new. If you came to the class the other day, you do not have this yet. This is something I've been working on. I was perfecting it. I also want to make sure that it's stored well, and it does. And it's a really cool base. So normally our bases, like if you use Mod Podge, it really affects your stamping. And I wanted something that didn't affect my stamping. You can also do this in reverse and kind of get a fun effect, which I think is actually what I'm going to do. So I'm going to take some liquid glass. I'm going to cover the whole thing because why not? And you can use this as an adhesive or as a glaze. So this is going to be the gloss version, and then there's going to be a frosted glass, which is the frosted version. So I can now lay this down on here. I'm going So this adhesive has a low water content, so it's not going to affect your stamping too much. It's going to dry nice and quickly, and it's going to allow you to kind of do these fun like transfer effects. So I'm going to just rough cut around this. And the reason I like using this reverse side is it's a little bit more delicate. So it gives you like that softer, you know, like when they say use like an overlay in graphics or something. You see, it kind of gives me that overlay. Now I'm seeing the reverse of it rather than the front of it. And it's just like a little bit softer on the whole thing. So it's kind of like a nice little effect you've got. And there's the base of your tag. You can't use this one for foiling. It will not dry tacky. The idea of this one, and I'll show you in a second. So I'm going to put a coat of this on now. Nothing's budging, which is nice. And this will work on cardstock. It works with vellums. It works with everything. And I'm trying to crack the secret on a really good vellum glue. It's not as easy as you think. So I'm just kind of basting this on top, and it's going to give it like a really nice clear glaze, but it's nice and thin, and it doesn't come up with brush marks, which is another thing I like. It has a self-leveling part. But then what you can do, and we're going to talk more about the alchemy on Friday, but some of you came to last week's class know. So you can take this and you can mix it up. And there are 3 mixatives in our Lift Your Spirits collection. Let me find the link for you. Hedge. No, that's not how you spell hedgehog. So there's 3 of these in this special collection I made for you tonight. I'll put it on YouTube too. And the reason that it's kind of cool is so you can mix, I put the wrong size stickers on here, so yours would be correct. So they come in these really nice glass mason jars. So we have time travel powder. So what that means is we have ancient, we have retro, and we have ruins. And what they do is you mix these into your liquid glaze. We give you all the directions, everything's on here, and there's recipe cards too. And you mix this together and it creates your own crackle glaze. So retro is going to give you small, fine cracks. So distressed micro crackle for vintage layers. Then the next step up is your ruins, and that's going to give you a rugged stone crackle. So that's your middle one. And then your ancient is your dramatic crackle. And so you can let it dry naturally. It says it, I even put it all on here for you. So air dry, 30 to 60 minutes, large open cracks, gentle heat, even bolder fractured patterns. So you can do all of these kind of different things by mixing this in. So you put layer 1 on, and then layer 2 we will mix together, and then we rub ink in and we get these really cool crackles. So we want this to dry till it's like slightly tacky, and then we'll mix this up and do it. But you're going to see like it's a really cool way for it to go. So I'm going to leave that just to the side for now. Let's do ruins, I think. Try ruins. So I'm going to take a little bit of my liquid glass. And I've been playing with this. And a little bit goes a really long way. However, if you screw it on with that in the lid, you'll never get it off. You can also do the press and seal technique with these too. And these are different. So if you got your bundles at the weekend, these are add-ons because I wanted to save these for tonight and I hadn't quite perfected them. So these are not included. So you can go grab them at that link. There's also next month's stamp set, which I'm going to show you in a second. And it's a really cool stamp set. Don't judge this stamp set by its cover. When I explain it to you in a minute, you'll see what I mean. So I'm just mixing this powder in. Don't know if it's tacky enough. Okay. I don't advise typically to heat the first layer, but because we're live, I'm trying to expedite everything. Because you want this to be tacky, you don't want it to be dry, okay? So I'm going to paint this on top. Put that to the side. And I'm just going to put this over there to dry on my laptop because that seems like a really sensible thing to do right now. And I want to show you next month's stamp set before we dive into mounting all of these up. So this is next month's stamp set. So you can go grab this. This is our limited edition for next month. This is called Gothic Windows. And when we do this, whilst you have all of these very Halloween-y things in here, I'm also going to show you how you can turn these into stained glass windows for Christmas. So we're going to make Halloween and holiday cards with these next month. And you're going to be amazed the cool things we can make using these and making them into stained glass because they're a really, really fun, really fun set to use. So when you see how we can turn it into stained glass and we can make it like multicolored, we can make it into, we can use some of our older nativity sets and turn it into like church glass, like the old British churches. We're going to make Halloween ones, all those kinds of things. So this is what next month's one is. So this is Gothic Glass Scenes. You can go grab it now in the store. They are reduced. That's how we do it for Lift Your Spirits, $24.99 down to $21.99. There are 19 of them. So there are only 19 slots in the YouTube room for that one. So let's go back to this for now. And then I'm going to share with you one other thing we have. This is trash. If this is, I'm going to try heating this. Well, feeling I messed up because I heated the first layer and I shouldn't have done that. But we'll see. It seems to be bubbling. Oh, it's crackling too. But it's bubbling because I heated the first one. Yeah. It's okay. So when we do our alchemy class at the weekend, we're not going to rush it. We're going to go slow because some of these things take time. I don't know if I lift it up, if you can see like in here, the kind of crackles I've got. But I really need this to dry. But like you can see how it now looks like ancient ruins, which is the whole kind of idea. Mine bubbled up a bit more than I wanted, but it's super cute. There you go. You can see that nice little gloss. You see that crackle that you've got appearing in there? The bundle does not include the stamp. It does include the class I include as a bonus, but it does not include the stamp. So the stamp you have to add separately because there's no way I can keep track of the inventory otherwise. It's easy with this stuff because I make it. But yeah, so there's the bundle for the Lost Ruins, and then the stamp set you have to buy separately. It's how I did it. In the beginning, I was going to do it together, and then I took it out because it just didn't work out. But yeah, so that's that. And then what you can do, if you want to, is you can take some flat white on either a foamy or really anything you want. Shower. Dry. Okay. Okay. And so I'm just rubbing this into the cracks. Needs a little bit of a re-ink. So can you see how it's kind of like picking out? It's kind of hard to pick up on the camera, but it's like picking up those crackles like in here where it's a little bit darker, you can see it more. But it creates these really cool techniques. So, and we give you all the recipes and everything. So the idea is you can take these mix-ins and you'll be able to add them into other mediums we've got as well and make those crackle. And you don't have to buy all the crackles in all the colors and all the different types. You just mix and match and we'll tell you everything that mixes together, how it mixes together and what you can make with them. So that's the way that the crackle works. And it's really, really, really fun to do. And it gives you like a really nice texture like this, because I rushed it and it bubbled. It feels like leather. You feel that? Oh yeah. It's like textured like leather. So you can make like this leather texture as well. Oh, thanks, Michelle. I'll update it. I thought I'd removed it, but yes. So the price reflects that that the stamp is separate. So I will get that updated as soon as we finish. So you've got that. Now go do your thing.
Bye. I'm sorry. I love you.
I love you too. Oh yeah. Take him to bed. All right. So we also bought out, by popular request, some items from the Maker Forte Vault. So available in that same collection is Pumpkin Spice and Everything Nice, which was one of my faves. We're going to do a video with that. There are 2 drinks on deck left. Everyone else's I've already shipped out. We added Dear to Me back in. That's Pumpkin Spice again. I added Retirement Sentiments because so many people emailed me about Retirement Sentiments. And then I also added I'll Be Known for Christmas, and we're going to use this at the weekend in our fur class because I want to show you how to do small areas like beards and stuff like that because it's a little bit different to doing monsters and things. So I was glad he arrived in time. And then I think tonight we're going to use this one as well. This is also in one of our from the vaults. It's Boo to You. I didn't realize I'd already called one Boo to You, but I really like this Boo in the background, and I'll build a ghost version as well. So that's in the store too, that we just re-released. Plus I have this really pretty paper from before. I don't really know what I'm going to do with all of these just yet, but we're going to figure them out and make some cards. So here's my card bases. I'm going to score these at 4.25. I'm going to cut my blacks to fit.
Alex,
Yes.
the description says that it includes the stamp set, but it does not, correct?
Correct. Yeah, Michelle just said
Okay.
that to get it fixed,
Okay.
but
Just wanted to make sure.
it doesn't include the stamp set. I was going to do that, and then I ended up taking it out because it just made everything more difficult. So I'm doing 4 inches by 5.25. These ones are all pre-cut to size. Just checking here if I can update it. I can't update it because I crashed my Chrome out, so I have to do it after. So I'm going to just add these onto each of them because I always do this like little black background anyway. Yeah, I need to somehow organize what I've got here because I was going through my boxes today. I'm like, I know that that's a duplicate, and I thought I took out all the duplicates. So I'm still. Because this is not yet my full-time job. I want to be a full-time crafter again. Okay. So there's my 3 bases to my 3 pieces. I'm going to use this on one of them, that piece that we made. I think it's just really cute. So I'm going to cut this to 3.75 by 5 inches. I have no idea who Tilly is on the phone to. And then I'm going to just add, no, my Maker's Magic's gone. What is this? I love how fine that needle tip is. No idea what to put on this, but I'm loving this. Every time I look over at it, I see more and more of like the cracks and the texture. And I'm just like, I want to touch it. It's really tactile. All right, so that's that one. And you notice I never fold my cards until I'm done. I think I'll do this. And you know, I'm actually going to stamp a background out real quick. Even though I already put the black on, I'm just going to stamp on the top. I'm going to use that boo because it's a really cute one. And I'm going to use well, I'm going to pick this one out. And I'm not worried about it going off the black because it's going on to white. So you're not even going to see it if it does. Mm. I'm just going to put her on top like this. So she's just kind of like swinging by. Maybe we'll even put her a little bit on the angle like that. Pigment needs a minute to dry. So I'm going to use my bone folder on the back. So there's our first card. See what YouTube says too. So yeah, it's a fun one. All right. Then we have this guy. This one. I'm going to do another white background. I just like that pigment white as a background. So I'm going to do a couple of spooky vibes only. Like this. And then in between, I'm going to build a couple of little ghosts. And of course, you could do this as the actual card. You could just have this, and I'll show you in a second a way you can make this make this look like a little chalkboard. I'm gonna take a little bowler hat, turn him into a little gentleman ghost. I think I could send an upload to those people. What's the one you use, Jen? Color something? Color My Life or something. Yeah. I have to see. I'm just adding some little faces in here. I'm going to give this one a little treat bag. I love these ones, and they're so easy to do. You see, I'm literally just doing this freehand. There's no like lining up or anything needed. This one. And I squeeze that one out because I kind of wanted to look a little bit like moustachey almost. There's a bow tie you can add. Or you could add it like a hair bow too. You can add it like a little hair bow too. So. And then if you want that to just be your card, you can. You can also remember add colored pencils on black and it's going to show. So you grab out your so you see how I can use my color pencils. And I can make it have details. So that I can add color even on black. So remember that too. You can also color on black using your white color pencils. And if you want to turn this, as I say, into a chalkboard style technique, so I kind of like this as I'm going to use it as a background, but if you wanted to use it as a foreground, you absolutely could. Now, because this is pigment, in some way you have to either set it or do something. So I would heat set this, but also just remember you can take your brush. Make sure there's not much ink on it. This is my white one specifically. And just drag up and down very gently. You see how gentle my touch is on this? And it's going to turn this from regular to chalkboard. And you can't do this with all inks. This was one of the cool techniques I wanted. So if you're doing this with other pigments, you will just have to see what your working time is, all those kinds of things. But if you look now, it's nice and chalky and streaky, and it looks, but I still have lots of detail. You can tell what everything is, but it's lost that crisp black, and it's more like just a kind of cool chalkboard technique in the background. You can also take your cloths if you want to make it like really streaky, and you can drag one of your microfibers down. I don't know if I'm feeling that brave. It's just going to give you a more intense streak to it. But I would still do the dab, dab, dab first. And then you get that kind of nice like chalkboard thing as well. You also could take, first of all, you could make this just the frame if you didn't want to have the whole thing. So you could cut him down like this. You could also cut this out with a craft knife and pop the frame up. So you'd have multiple pieces. And then you could piece it all back together as well. So you could lift that frame up if you understand what I mean. So I would take my craft knife, cut this out. That piece would be separate. And then I would cut here. And so I would have 3 pieces. And I would raise my frame up and put my ghost flat. So that's another option you had. And that would give you some like up, down dimension. So that's another option. I could probably like do a whole day's class just on this one stamp set. There are so many things you could do with it. But I'm going to mount this one up and the other one up. And then I want to see if we've got time to try one little thing. Because if it works, I think it would be a really cool little card. Okay. So then you've got that one as well. So there's our second card. Little chalkboard card. All right, then we're going to do this one. We already made this on here. I want to decorate this accent. I'm worried about doing it once I stuck it on. I'm just going to go for it. If I was at home, well, I am at home. If I was you and at home and I wasn't doing this on a live video, I would decorate this accent before I made it into a card. Just saying. But we're not, we're on live, so I'm going to do it in place and I'm going to hope it all goes to plan. Okay, so I'm going to take my cute little girl. I'm going to stick her on. I'm not going to add a sentiment on this one because I think I'm already about to mess it up. So we'll see how this goes. I need some. I want the gold. So I'm going to use some of our gold foil. I've discovered this is the easiest way to handle it. Try not to get your fingers all over it like I just did. All right, well, this is the bit we're going to use then. That's on my fingers. So I'm going to take some of our foil glue, which comes in this really fine nozzle. And I'm going to put it just on the hearts and in the middle of the scrolls. I'm going to let that dry for a second. And I'm going to put this in our reclamation. I have a little jar over here of reclaimed foil. That's going in there. Go. I don't want to hear from you. Thank you. We'll let this dry for a second. And some tweezers. So I'm just going to lay some pieces on top while it's drying. I'm trying to pick it up with my hand. That's why I'm kind of doing a little bit awkwardly. Concentrate really hard. Okay. Just going to wipe that off for now. All right, so I'm going to leave that on there for a second to dry. And in the meantime, I'm going to take some liquid glass. And I want to use my little precision. And I'm going to paint this on top. And again, it's not going to affect my ink or anything. You can see my ink is not budging. My alcohol markers are not budging, which is really nice. And all it's going to do is put a clear glaze on top, and it dries super fast. Now, if you want the texture, you can just stipple like I'm doing. And I want that like orange peeliness because it's a pumpkin. If you just use smooth strokes, you'll get that. There's also a leveler you'll be able to add, but this dries way quicker than glossy accents, which I came up with a version of glossy accents, but it just takes so long to dry. I want to try and find a better version for us card makers of that. We can use UV resin and things, so I might like kind of show you guys how to do it that way too. But I want to let this dry for a second, and then we're going to brush it off, and it's going to have these like little gilded pieces on it, but it's not dry yet. Take this. It's not quite ready for a final polish, but oh, it stuck some. Some stuck on the pumpkin. That's why I would let it dry and not do it straight on the card. But now I have gold on my pumpkin, so I guess my pumpkin's gonna look kind of cute too. Anyway, it's fine. All right. Need to just, where's my little pen? One's too dark. Those olos we have. I'm kind of liking these olos. I just spotted a bit that needed a touch up. There we go. And there you go. So now I have gold on my pumpkin, which kind of wasn't my plan, but it actually looks kind of cute on there. So, you know, it is what it is. All right, I want to just try something if it's good with you. We kind of made our 4 projects, but I had this idea of, have you seen the viral ghost painting that's going around? I think Michael sold it or something, and everyone's like going crazy for it. Well, I wondered if we could make a card making video. I don't know if this is going to work, but I thought we would try and see. So we're going to do it with this one. But I keep seeing people make all this canvas version and all this stuff. So that's that one. Up to the side. kind of thing. This is what I thought of in the car, so I'm just kind of thinking it through as I go. Here's my squid buster. And it really doesn't matter what color you do it in, because we're going to cut it out anyway. A color that I can see it. But for this one, we need a little knife. As I say, this was not part of like tonight's planned live, but I had this idea in the car and I'm like, oh, I wonder if that would work. So I thought we would try. I'm going to use my little dilutions. Yeah. And I can use this as a surface to cut on. I'm just going to use an old acrylic flat as a ruler. Sorry if my head's in the way for a second. This is what I was talking about, cutting out the frame. Slide. So there's a little frame, and we can cut out frame. And so this is what I meant on the other one. If you wanted to, you could like make the up, down, up. just fussy cutting around this edge here. Of course, you could do this on a coordinating cardstock anyway, and then you would have pre-colored in frames. You could do it on a textured cardstock. You could do it, you could stamp a wood stamp and then stamp this over the top, and you would have all that kind of stuff. So you can do it too. There's tons of different ways you could. And now I'm going to just take this. And what I'm doing is lining up the edge of my ghost, just with the edge of the plastic guide. So it overlaps a little bit. I'm actually going to use the reverse side. Or you can do it in black. We'll do both and see which kind of looks better. Let's see. It's 1 3/4 by 2.5. So 2.5 1 3/4. It isn't right. Oh, 1 3/4. But that's not rectangular. So there's our black and there's our white versions. So we can see which one we prefer with our little ghost ears. So Bar says, I like cool designs, but real-time crafting mistakes. Well, yes, we go with the mistakes. Like I make mistakes just like everybody else, and there's always a way to fix them sometimes. So we just kind of have to figure out the house. I'm using my Potion Masters set, and I think I won. Don't know. So this is our Potion Masters set. And this is our silicone stir stick. I'm not sure which one I want just yet. And I'm going to use the whipped mousse. Yours comes in this size of jar. This is my one that I had in the craft room. And I am not a mediums expert, so I may well screw this up. But I'm going to try. Okay, so I kind of watched how they did it. And I don't. Because theirs are also much bigger. So they took like some of this, put it down. I think the top of my ghost is pretty good. Let's try it with the popsicle stick. I might even just need a paintbrush. Nope, that's how they do it. So I'm just using the stir sticks, which are more like a popsicle stick, but these are silicone coated, so stuff doesn't stick to them. And so if any of you have seen this viral, I'll have to see if I can find it and post it in the Facebook chat. There's like this viral painting that nobody can get. I think it was from Michael's, because obviously there's no Joanne's anymore. So I'm just putting some on the tip, putting it down, and scrape. I think theirs started higher up the page, but by the time I have the frame on it. And I like it on the black. It looks good on the black. I like it more than the white. So I'm going to stick with the black. If I was doing it again, I'd probably go a little bit further up. Let's do another one. But I want to show you how I would finish this. Make it look the same. Did I say 2 3/4? Is that right? About 2 3/4? By 1 1/4? 1 3/4? Maybe. Oh, the same. All right, so we're going to do another one, but we're going to start further up this time. I'll give it a little stir. Do you want to whip the whip? You want to whip the whip out of it or stir the whip out of it, but at the same time just stir it to make it nice and thing. So we're going to start like, I don't know, just over halfway. So I got 3 on the top. Then I'm going to go in the middle here. Those are a little bit easier because they use a much bigger canvas. But I'm going to show you how I'm going to account for that. I don't know if anyone can see where this is going yet. Also would make like really cool scales, or if you've ever seen those like TikTok ones where they do it in a rainbow or things like that, you could do the same thing with this. And you can do it with the other alchemy bases too. So you can see all the texture you get in this. Super easy cleanup. Kind of looks, yeah, it looks like gingerbread cottage, or you could make it into scales. You could make it into flowers probably too. I'm gonna give this a blast with the heat gun. I need my no flurries. Actually, these snow flurries re-infill. It's drying out. I don't want to toast my ghosts. I don't want them to be s'mores. Kind of scared to touch it and put water on it because it's not dry. I'm gonna go for it and just hope for the best. And if it goes wrong, it goes wrong. I'm going to take a little bit of Snow Flurries Reinka, which we now have. And just because this is a really small area and it's super thin, I want to like, anywhere where I feel there's too much black, I'm just going to dab in my Reinka, especially here at the bottom. I really wish these were more dry because I think it would give a much better next part, but we're just going to have to go with it because this is what we've got to work with. Then I need now you want something with a really fine tip but archival, because if you use dye, it will bleed. Yeah. I have a new bow marker. I'm going to go with that and hope that this works. So ideally you want black, mine's brown, but we're going to make it work anyway. There is your little viral TikTok ghost family card making size. And now you can just put your frame on top and it looks just like that. And if you want to just like soften it out a little bit, just take your brush and you can streak the background here. There is, have you seen those on TikTok? This viral Michael's ghost painting thing that everyone's making?
Yeah.
Well, we made a card version. You can tell she's so impressed.
No,
But
booty use on my favorite.
I think this is really cute. This is going to make like a really cute embellishment on a card. So I like how it came out. Okay. If you dye it brown, you could do the whole family of cousin It's from the Addams Family. Oh my God, that's so cool. That's such a cool idea. Anyway, I thought it was just a fun little thing, and I kind of had the idea in the car of doing it, and I love it. Jen said she just found it in Michael's. So yeah, I keep seeing them on TikTok. So anyway, all right, so let's do a quick recap of everything we've done tonight. So we made our own little mini viral Michael's embellishment. Of course, you could also turn this into a shaker. You could add some acetate on here and then put this over the top. And then you could also have a shaker frame under there as well. So that's another option you've got. We did our coloring and white stamping. We did our black and white version and then did our chalkboard underneath. And we did our sepia version, which is still drying. And then we added our foil. There we go, it's pretty much ready to burnish. It's kind of still drying a little bit. And then added our foil elements. And you see our nice shiny glossy pumpkin on there as well. And it's got like a really cute little orange peel texture. It's kind of hard to pick up on there. You can see it a little bit, but it actually has a little orange peel texture on it, which I like. So it's not super glossy. It's just a light sheen, but it's got like that orange peely dimpliness to it, which I really like on there because we did the things. And then we also have our tag that we made with our crackles. And this like really feels like leather. You can absolutely turn the whisper and do it exactly how I did it and mess it up, like purposefully mess it up. And you can turn it into leather as well. But you can see here where it's like highlighting some of those cracks for you too. And remember, I used the reverse side. So this is the side we actually stamped on. And I used the reverse side, so I had more of an opaque. We could even take our little peeps and put them on here. I guess or something. I don't know. They're not quite dry yet. But yeah. Tiny lights under the frame. Yes, you could use like the pear blossom press type thing. You go, so you'd have one like little 3D like that. It reminds me of like the frames in Harry Potter when they're walking up the staircases. I don't know why.
Oh yeah.
Like when it's like this, with this one, with like the eyes just looking at you. That's what it reminds me of.
But
Thanks, though. Can you just put that water in the sink and I'll deal with it in the morning,
Just put
please?
water in it.
Yeah. All right, so it's prize time. All right, we need a piece of paper to write prize time. Oh, hang on. Oh, Tilly's doing that? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bye.
All right, I need a pen. Okay, so we're going to do a $25 gift card on the Zoom, and we're going to do a $10 gift card on YouTube.
3.
I stopped on Kathy Garrett. Oh, I've never been to Disney to go to Haunted Mansion. I should.
I want to go to. I also want to go to like all the other stuff.
All right, and then we're going to do one on YouTube.
Closing now. 3, 2, 1, stop.
Laurie. Yeah.
Yay!
I know I have your information, Laurie, as well. So, can't even speak. Right, I'm going to change the
You can't
pen.
eat this, for you. You can't eat this.
No,
Sorry, it's
where's
spicy.
me? Replace spotlight. There we go. So, with someone who, so if you order the bundles from tonight or the Lift Your Spirit stamp for next month, which so we'll do it September 16th. We're doing the same, except we're going to do, careful, can you go put that in the sink, please? We're going to be doing Gothic windows, and I'm going to show you how to do them in Christmas and in Halloween theme. But I will be putting some of these in those orders. So for the orders at random, I will put these tags in. I'll finish that one tag up tomorrow, and I'll burnish the other one off in the morning as well once it's super dry. So everything will get done, and we'll get those out as well. Do you have to sift the fluffy stuff? No, you do not have to sift the fluffy stuff. It comes in the pot. You can use it straight out the pot. And then there's the additives and everything too. So I'm going to update the YouTube subscription, and everything that I'm using in this special collection will be linked down there. And that's it. So I will see you either Friday or Saturday. Tomorrow we have skating. Thursday we have skating. So it'll be Friday or Saturday. And we'll be doing a full rundown of Creative Alchemy. So I'm super excited for that as well. Thank you so much for hopping on with me tonight. I know it's been a long one, but I hope you enjoyed it. And I hope you'll be joining me again next month for more ideas. And I will see you then. Happy stamping, everyone.